But again, you're a lifelong Templemore man, the same as myself,
born and bred.
born and bred. And you're not long retired out of college. You gave all your life, I think. Did you most of your life in the college?
Gave from 5th of February 1978 to the 25th of June of this year, 47 and a half years. But then I took a career break for a year and a half over. So 47 and a half years, long
Some
time,
length of time, is that
long, long time.
a lot of people, obviously when people say that aren't from Templemore, when they think of the Garda College, they
Uh,
obviously think of Garda trainees.
Garda trainees.
There's a
And
huge employment.
there was a big employment between, say, some of the lads were there, the general operatives and all that, the ladies cleaning staff, the kitchen staff, all the office staff. Would be a good, it's a good employer and steady employment, which is good like as well.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But I remember when I went in there, my dad and my mum worked there. My mum gave 24 years there. My dad gave 14, and he wanted me to go into it. And I didn't want to go in because in the evening you'd hear them, they'd be home in the evening. They'd be arguing. She said, "Oh, you men are doing nothing around the yard." And he said, "You women are doing nothing, you're drinking tea inside." I often said to Nora, and they want me to go in there saying, "Oh, this going on." I said, so, but I went in, but it was the best thing I ever done. It was great employment, helped me through life and all that. Like, it
Yeah.
was brilliant. Like, but even if the people seen it back then, towards where it is now, even the students, I often said we kept students for years over it in the house as well, and I'd be explaining what it was like. 10 lads to a room one time with only a partition maybe 8 foot up, and I was in here, the 10 lads next door as well. Like, so big difference. Improved for the better, I suppose. For the better, I suppose. But then back then, it was smaller and everyone knew everyone. There's probably a better crack in it that then, but everyone, it's kind of run different now. Like, but that's the way you move on. That's the way things go, I suppose. Yeah.
And like I said to you, a lot of people wouldn't realise the employment that it gives for people around
Well,
town.
it gives great employment around, so and it's great for the shops as well, I suppose. The trades like Peter's Veg and all that there. And they lost that there a few years back, but they got it back again, which was only right. That should never have happened. Like, but it's a great employment because I mean, as I said, for if I counted the years between myself, my mum, and my dad, it was 84 years service given to it,
My God,
which is a lot.
that's serious.
It is a lot. And I was, like I say, I started in February 78. But I can remember my dad bringing me up there on a Saturday. I'd say I was only 10 or 11, so that's about 60 years ago. I used to go up with him, give him a hand, clean it up, and he'd throw me into the shallow, and then we do a bit of a run around, over across the pool, swim and all that, correct? So
Yeah,
60 years is a long time with
it's
it.
a long, long
Long
time.
time,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how many people roughly would it employ, apart from say Garda staff?
Uh, gosh, I'd be taking a guess. I'd say to be 80 to 90, I'd say.
I was thinking that, like
Between them
that.
all,
Yeah,
around that, I'd say,
yeah,
yeah.
because that is serious employment in a town, like, isn't it?
Serious employment, and as I said, to steady employment. Now, a lot of the office staff will be coming and going, to be get promotion, they might go somewhere else and all that, like, so. But it is a good employer, and
Yeah,
hopefully will be for a long time
please
yet
God,
to come. Like,
please God.
yeah.
And you're retired, but you're nearly busier than ever now because you're big
I'm, I
into
mean,
gardening. And
I was never busy. Don't do much gardening. I mean, the woman has me lined up to throw bulbs for and all that, but never as busy because I think people know now that I'm retired. I have more time. Like I've done a bit of painting views here down through the years, but I'd have to go check a book and see how many days leave it I left and all this. I'd be trying to watch all that, like. But now I can just say, right, I come to this day, and I can say to myself, if I'm there that day, then actually, look, you can finish at 4 o'clock. You have all week to do it, and that's the good thing about it. Like,
and
I'm working
and,
for myself.
and you love and you enjoy the painting, don't you? And you're
I
very good
love
at
it.
it.
I'm enjoying it. It keeps me fit up and down ladders, rolling walls, and all that as well. Like, and still get me swimming in, which is very important as well. That's one thing I miss out of college big time is the pool. It was great to have it there, so in the area, but I've lost grey now, which is good. Like,
Yeah. Oh, you
gives you
actually
something to
you're
do.
into the swimming yourself.
The
Oh,
swimming,
very good.
love the
Excellent. Yeah.
swimming. Yeah, love the swimming.
Brilliant.
Still
Yeah.
do me 40 lengths, which is great.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it was I tried to decorating up there. I'd done the gardening up there for 15 years and enjoyed that as well. And then the decorating kind of came up, and I started small, but she ended up doing bigger stuff and bigger. But I enjoy doing it, and it was great. Like, it was great for them as well because they had me doing it. They hadn't to get the big crowd in to pay them the big bucks.
Yeah. And I often think that, and I personally think the idea that if you retire and you do nothing,
Yeah, yeah.
you'll probably go mad that you really need.
I would crack up because I can't watch TV during the days. I might watch the news at dinner time or something like that. But I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Like, and I think that's the mistake a lot of people make when they retire now. Depends on your health. So I mean, I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be working till age 70 into college
Mm.
because retirement was 65. Like, but I worked on. and would have even stayed on another year if I had to get it, but I couldn't get
Couldn't
it.
get it. Yeah.
But I never thought of doing that. I mean, I think my dad, God be good to him, he died at 55. He got the cancer at 54.
Yeah.
So you know, I've a lot to be thankful for there. Like when I look at it that way, like so, little did he even think bring me into it. I'd be there till 70.
Yeah.
So he'd be chuffed to know that now. He would.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
But
That's
no, but it's it's important to keep yourself busy when you do retire because to me it's just age is only a number. It
correct.
depends the way you feel yourself, like, and
Yeah.
that's the way to look at it.
I often think if if you sit down and do nothing, imagine if you sit down and do nothing,
You'd see it's up, sure. You just
I'd say so.
you be thinking about things and all this, and you let things get in and all that. And it's
Yeah.
important to keep yourself busy and keep your mind busy as
Keep
well. Like,
yourself occupied.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, and November 2000, your world
November
changed.
2013, then sure, world collapsed. Poor Daniel was killed after immersing him,
Yeah.
and that was a terrible ordeal. That's something you never get over it. You learn to cope. Now the college was great that time. They gave me a lot of time off, and they had a mass up there from all that, and some of the lads up there actually helped in digging the grave from all that. Like, and even when I went back, I remember going back to work around maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. So I don't know how you went back then. And like there wasn't a lot you could do in the garden up there. Then I remember out in the front garden, and all I could hear coming over the garage, the driving school road was jingle bells, jingle bells. I nearly cracked up, and I said to myself, "What in the name of Jesus am I doing back here?" But just, I suppose, trying to get some normality back to life. But it took a long, long time to get over it. Like, and I mean, that time you were brilliant yourself. That time as well. I remember me and you sitting in the room where Daniel was laid out, and I said to you, I wanted the ring off his finger, and I still have the ring on me. Never comes off my hand. And we're just talking there, the two of us, like you have a way about you. I mean, I know people say that I see doing these podcasts that you do make people feel at ease because you're so used to doing what you do, and you got that from your father. He was brilliant at it as well,
Mm.
and you have his mannerism, the comical side, and all that, like, and which make everyone feel at ease. But it was a hard time, and it was a very hard time for Nora because I always looked at the mother carries a child for 9 months, she gives birth and all that to him, and that's hard. And for her that happened, and she wasn't long after having surgery that time, and she just tough on her. And then when I went back to work, Nora wasn't working because after surgery she couldn't, so it was tough on her that way. Like, but we got through it. And what I used to do then, I used to go if I heard someone then after losing a son or a daughter, I go to them and sit down, have a cup of tea, and I talk. Some people who want to talk. Some people, what you basically do is keep your ears open and let them talk away and listen. And I'd done that, and I like to think I did help people because they told me they said that the counsellors with them were too kind of over a book kind of thing, whereas I was talking from the heart, talking from experience.
You
And
had been there.
you see me turn up here at funerals as well. And you often said to me, you don't realise the good you're doing, that those people see you and they say, look where he is now after going through it. Like, but I mean, it's bad. Like, and crazy things going back to the college. There's myself, Michael Ryan, and Seamus Sullivan, three of us worked together, and the three of us lost their only sons. You wouldn't write a book on it, like,
Yeah.
and that's crazy. Thing in a small little job like that happened.
Yeah.
The three of us, like, and could help the lads as well through like that, and that was a tough time for them. But yeah, you kind of you still see it going on today. See a lot of young people dying. You know that's just in the town this year alone, like, and it's just frightening. Like, and we're just talking about her friend, our old Lucy there, what that family is going through, and his mother. And my heart really goes out to her, like, because it's a very hard time for her after her daughter only last October, like. So it's just, it's frightening, and you'd say to yourself, it's hard, but then you read something that comes and you say, Jesus, that's even harder. But I think it hits you when someone loses a child, son or a daughter. It hits you because you know exactly what they're going through.
Right.
You know every pain in their body, what the way they're feeling like, and your heart to go out to them even more. Like, I went on Tip FM there. I think was it last year sometime or earlier on this year. I think was it in Clonmel. Remember the young lad was driving his two sisters down, they skidded on the road or
With
something.
tippers. Yeah.
And ran Tip FM, some people saying how they're feeling. And I actually rung them and just asked me, like, come on. The first day I said no, then I said I'd do it. And I was talking to Frank Curry, and I didn't think after Dan now is 25 years dead this year, didn't think this affect me. And I just burst out crying. It's just talking about and knowing what that family was going through, like. But they lost two of their kids, like, so it's a crazy time,
Mm.
crazy thing, like. But you get through it, and people come up and say things like, a man says to me one day, but he says, This was the month of March. The evenings now were getting longer, and I know exactly what he meant. It's not November, December is dark, but I felt like saying to him, it could be bright 24 hours a day, and you don't know. And like some people then say nothing, which is and I can understand that they don't know what to say. And I remember my daughters, Philomena and Vicky, as they went out, and as the months went on, they were out one time. They said, "Daddy, no one came near us tonight to say talk about Daniel." I said, "That's people letting you move on with your life that they don't know what to say now. At the time they're afraid of going to hurt you and all that. Like it was a very hard time for them. But I think what hit me the most when Daniel that time was I said to myself, I looked at he was the only son. I said, if anything ever happened to me, he was going to be the man of the family. That hit me hard for a long, long time. I said, what if anything happened to me? What would they do? Like, but as you go over that, then thank God the two girls, they met two lovely lads. I better mention them, Ben Quinn and Joe Shields, Mega as they call them.
Yeah.
But they met them, and they're absolutely brilliant. You couldn't look for better sons-in-laws, and I know they'd be there for Nora if anything ever happened to me as well. So yeah, but grief, it affects everyone different, and people deal with it different. Some people deal with it, some people can't deal with it. And I often said, like, Daniel was killed in an accident, like, but people say about have their child commit suicide. That has to be tremendous altogether. There's no end to that. Like, things go around your head for the rest of your life.
I
It's
can imagine so,
oh,
yeah.
it can be terrible, terrible.
And I'm sure I said to you at the time, straight away, I'd apologize because I don't know what you're going through,
Yeah, yeah,
thankfully.
yeah.
And I'd say to you,
Thankfully, you don't. And hopefully, you don't. But I seen then your review one time, and as I said, I always admired the way you do things. And your friend Tommy Heaney,
mhm,
and was painting out the back there. And I asked you that day. I said, Eamon, how do you deal with someone like that, like your friend? And I think you said something like you have to switch off and just do your
yeah,
job.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that takes a lot of courage to do that too.
correct,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
same we're talking about poor Joe there, Joe Burke,
yeah,
another good friend of yours. You
yeah,
have to go through all that as well.
correct.
So you're gifted in what you do, really.
And probably in a way, maybe even like yourself, we probably maybe
Yeah,
feel we have to be strong maybe for Joe's
that's
family.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
probably felt that you had to be strong because you had
Have to be
three
strong as well.
ladies to keep
Yeah,
an eye on. And
and I actually remember that night, poor Joe and Veronica, Lord have mercy on the two of them, they came
yeah,
down because Veronica and Philomena were great friends, and poor Veronica poured out to drop her brandy. She knows I liked brandy, and I couldn't drink it. I just and the sat with us all night long, which was great. You don't forget things like that, like
yeah,
which was great. But no, I didn't want to drop her brandy. And that morning, Pat was going down the road. I seen passing the side window. And my dad said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going down," and I seen you at the bucket. He was washing Daniel's blood off the road, and I went down doing it with him. I said to myself, people who were driving down going to work in the factories, they probably said, are they mad out in the middle? They had to clue what we were doing. Like,
cleaning the
I
footpath or
said,
whatever.
little did I know. Like, yeah, but I think the hardest thing that night when it happened was I had to go into my mum and tell her. And Father Slattery was here at the time, lovely man he was at the time. He came in with me, and that was hard telling her, but she couldn't understand it. She said, why at my age, why not taking an old one like we are? This way she was going, like, so.
Yeah.
It was a tough time, but think we've come through it. And I think when we said that time, I didn't grieve for Daniel. Something came into my head that night. I said, "Buddy, Christmas is coming," and Nora and the girls were behind me, roaring and shouting on the road. God love them. I said, "You to get these two Christmas," and my father, I said, "Up in heaven, you take Daniel and look after him." But I think it was a day after New Year's Day. I was going up to his grave, and I think that's when it hit me. I said to myself, "If a bus came this minute, I'd walk under it." That's how hard it hit me. But then the good side of my brain kicked in and said, "Yeah, and that'd be great. And what would everyone do at home then?" So I came home, got into his bed, and said I had the flu for about 4 or 5 days, stood in the bed, felt close to him in the bed.
Yeah, yeah,
So that was my grief kind of hitting me then. And then before Mum would come in and say, "Come on, buddy, you have to go up," and I said, "Leave me alone," like that. But at 4 days, then I knew. I said, "Here, look, come on, you have to make a move now, and that's it." And just get up then and just took it a day at a time then after that. And I said to her on there, Sister Helen, Lord Mercer, used to come into us. She was absolutely brilliant because myself and Nora couldn't talk about it because we were afraid we'd upset one another. We're kind of hiding from one another. But we talked to her, and I'd hear Nora talking to her, and Nora'd hear me talking to her. And she's going out one day, Sister Helen, and she said, I don't know, buddy, am I any good to you? I said, you're being brilliant. And I told her we were working that I'm listening to Nora talking to her, she's listening to me. I said, so you are doing very good. I said, grateful to her for that as well. Like, but I'd still, I'd still go to people now if someone I knew like that, I go to them and just sit down and talk to them and let them see that they're not going mad because that's the way you feel like. And I think it was 2 weeks after Daniel died, I was at the worktop getting me tea one evening. Next, I heard the door open at 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, here's Daniel in from work, without even thinking. And it was young Paul Tierney, Philomeno's friend, coming in. And just before he came in, I just turned. I was going to say hello, Daniel. And it just shot me and I said, buddy, I said, Daniel's not here. But that's what it does to you. Hard to believe it.
Yeah.
Hard to believe it.
And probably during the funeral, to a certain extent, you were in kind of autopilot, maybe, and just
Autopilot as
things
well,
had to be done.
getting Nora through it. Remember, it's great getting them through, watching her and all that, like, and again, trying to be the strong one, like, and you'd be strong, but you wouldn't show your grief if you didn't want to, just for them, like, and especially for the two girls that were young at the time. So Vicky was only, I think she was 14 at the time. So it was hard for them, like, I mean, they were so young to see something like that happen as well. Like, lost me mum and dad. That's kind of it's a natural process, I suppose. You know what is going to come, like, but not my dad being so young, I suppose, at 55. But yeah, you try to be strong. But then I said the day after New Year's Day, and that's when my grief hit me, and I dealt with it then, like, yeah. But I said to college, we're very good to give me a lot of time off and all that, like, and even them, they couldn't understand Pat Murray, superintendent. He bring me in and taught me, and he said a thing to me one day, and it all sticks in my mind. It was very true. He said that he knew another superintendent had lost his son in an accident, and he said like that he was going through it every day, and then he said it came a day that he went a day and never thought of doing that, and he said that knocked him for six.
Good.
That did happen to me one time, was because the early stage every day you'd be thinking of Daniel. And then one day come, I didn't. And then I felt terribly guilty. You go to the grave regular back then. You wouldn't do it now as much. I look after the flowers and all that. But even when I stopped that, then I used to feel kind of guilty as well. But I said to myself then, is right, Daniel is there, his body is there, his spirit is somewhere good. He had to be somewhere good. He was too young anyway to be taken. But you kind of ease yourself over all that then. Like, and just try and get on with life as best you can. I remember for a long time on a Sunday, 7 hour couldn't stay home the house. We'd go to either Murphy's or the hotel, have our own dinner, have a few drinks, just couldn't be there. Just that's the day he was killed. Like,
I was just going to say,
it was a
Sunday evening triggered it for you.
long time to get
Yeah,
over it. Then I got to our car and Eddie Scully was showing me how to drive now. Then he was great, just to work with Eddie and Jamie, my nephew, and things like that help. But helped me big time, and I hope I'd say it to a lot of people. It probably applies. Daniel's friends, Andy Scully, Eddie, Joe Kinane, Joe's in Australia now. And if you weren't, they were brilliant. They'd keep calling in. And I remember them telling me the funny story, I took a career break out of college and I went to America and Daniel came with me. And when we were there, he wouldn't know where a shop is he could go because he couldn't buy cigarettes. He wasn't 18. He couldn't have a drink. He wasn't 18. And I'd be getting all this stuff. And he was gone one day. He just go to this kind of hall, a concert team was on. And he was gone one day. There's no sign of coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I heard this noise coming in. I heard two voices. He had a girl with him. And I shouted out, where were you till now? I said like that. And he grunted something back at me. And I shouted back then, get into bed and turn off the lights, not realising what I was saying, get into bed. But the girl that I didn't even know. I never knew her till, I think it was his month's mine. We were down the Bridge Bar that time, the famous Bridge Bar. And Paul O'Toole had it at that time, I think. And the lads were talking, they were laughing about that. I said, we know something you don't know. I said, what's that? I said, and they said, that girl Dan had was a black girl. And I looked at him and said, sure, that wouldn't bother me. I said, well, Dan said you didn't like black people. I said, I never said I didn't like, what I didn't like, say, he go off and get these videos. And the lads have been like, but we all mother this and mother, I won't say the word. And all this. And I said, don't you bring them in here, I'm not going to be listening to them all night. So he was on that, but they thought it was hilarious though when I heard it. But even America was a great experience for the two of us. Was it something that we done? And when I think of it, Rob all the way to America in 1998, came home that December. Then 2000, he was killed outside the door. Like this, hard to imagine it, but it was a good experience. Something that I always think of because he'd ring Nora. Like we were 5 hours behind. I'd be cooking the dinner, like Nora hadn't spoiled everything. Had to be minced meat. So we're going somewhere. I'd buy chickens then, and chickens out there were different colour. They're very yellow looking. He'd ring Nora to be midnight here, and she was working in the college that time in the kitchen. What colour should the chicken be? I think he's trying to pies me. I think back in the good times, great, good memories. But his pictures at the end of on the wall near the end of the bed, and I talked to him most nights. He was saying to look after his sisters, and what what I do, what really gets me is when I look at me four beautiful grandkids. he would have loved them, especially he loved the girls, well, the two young lads. He'd have them as proud as ever. But he was deprived of all that, like, and that can be hard at times to think of things like that.
That was that a major turning point when they came on the scene?
Ah, gosh, sure, Holly was the firstborn, and she's an old doe. They're all doe. I love them all to bits. And Holly is 12 now. She's at the stage where very interactive now. That we go to the hotel up on the Sunday evening. So she loves coming in, like, and they're all into the sport. So it is drive here, drive there. Right, you go out to geez, drive again, but keeps you going, like. But they were a lifesaver,
Yeah,
definitely a
yeah,
lifesaver. Yeah, and they have their little house outside now, and their alpacas and their chickens and their horse, and when they're going off, of course, I'm looking after all these lads, like so. But yeah, they were a lifesaver to give you something to keep going, like
correct, right,
to
yeah,
hold on to.
yeah,
Yeah, but I said with people with grief, if people knows anyone going through it, don't expect too much too quick of them. And when if you go to someone, probably best right talk if you can talk, say, but listen. That's the very important thing. Listen, because someone going through grief like what I went through will talk and talk and talk. Maybe some people mightn't. Some people I found that now with a couple of people that thanked me for coming, and I know it was a nice way of saying, but look, we'll cope on our own,
yeah,
and that's fair enough. You let them do that, but
right.
they always know you're there at the end of the phone, like which is good, like.
Yeah, and like I said to you, when I see you going to attending funerals where somebody
Yeah,
has lost a child, I think when you stand in front of that family and just talk to them,
yeah,
you don't even have to talk to them, just to
yeah,
shake their hand,
yeah,
and they just look at you and say, "Look, this
yeah,
man has been here, he's done this, and
yeah.
there is light at the end of the tunnel."
There was a family I went to. I won't mention names. They're nice to mention
Yeah,
names, but they lost their son, and she was saying to me the husband wasn't really coping. He wasn't talking. So I went out one day to see him, and we're having a cup of tea with her, and he came in, and he was talking at the standing at the fire, and he was talking about like, and then I said something, and then he said something. Next thing he pulled up the chair and he said him beside me. He had a coffee, and he kept talking away, talking and talking away, and I think the weirdest thing the two of us had in common, I said to him before, and he said he went through the same thing. Before Daniel was killed, I say 6, 7 months before, they had wasn't even a dream, it was a nightmare. Had a nightmare, one of my kids was after being killed. And I could see everything. I could see the coffin, two students we had, Eamon and Stephen. Nora was in hospital after having her operation in this dream, and they were walking down the hall with me to tell her what happened. But could see the coffin, could see everything, couldn't see who was in it.
very
And
good,
I woke up in a sweat. But then went down my head. I said, "Jesus, that was some nightmare." But he told me something similar happened to him as well.
very good.
I'm not saying it's a premonition every time you have a dream like that
Yeah,
when your kids are going to pass away, like. But
yeah,
no, I got talking, and she said to me, "I don't know, good." That's the first time she heard them opened up about it, like
very
so,
good. Yeah,
which is good because some people probably find it hard to do it, like, but it is good, and some people probably keep it bottled up forever.
yeah,
No one knows, like,
yeah, correct. It's hard. It has
it's
to be
hard,
in
it's
fairness.
hard.
And you mentioned his friends. I remember one of the things with his friends, they insisted on carrying him the whole way to the
They,
church, which was nearly a mile.
that was brilliant. That was brilliant. To carry from the house up
They
the whole
insisted,
way.
absolutely
Yeah,
insisted. And even as we got closer, you could see they were getting
they
tired
were
and
getting
weary.
tired. Yeah,
And I was trying to get someone to come out and take a break and put
yeah.
some. No, no,
No,
they were
they were insisting on doing it because I remember young Andy came in the first night he was laid out, and he came in and looked at him, and he was gone again. He went down home and he brought up the peak cap and put it on because he always had a hat.
correct.
And he said, it's not Daniel without the hat. He said, yeah, but they were in. But I did say to them, I said, remember one thing. I said, when you look at him there, say that knows no boundaries with age. I said,
Yeah,
that'd be a lesson to you, like, because I mean, and that was true with the regret. And they still keep in touch, like, we're still talking to Reddy is married to my niece, like, and all that, like, and they're all doing well now. They all have their own kids as well, which is great. But they never forget him, and that's good to know as well, like,
and I often think today, if something like that happened in a family today,
yeah,
sometimes you have to get a lot of therapy.
yeah.
But the two girls and Nora and yourself, you were great to go out and have a drink and talk
Okay,
about
about
him,
it and talk about it,
talk to
like,
his
and yeah,
friends.
and the girls had no, they had their friends. They had the Tierney family, the boys, Paul, Thomas, and them, they were great friends. The two guys were brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
brilliant to them they were, and all their other friends as well was very good. And Nora had good friends as well to talk about it, and even myself. And the night we were in the Bridge Bar, the night he went to the church, we were there, and they all wanted me to have a drink. Funny, I didn't have a drink that night. I said I have something to do, and then at the funeral, I gave the speech about, and I knew I had to do that, like, and I wanted to clear head doing it. But yeah, but it's good to have people around you, good people around you, good friends to help as best they can. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
And they often say one of the things you should say to people is, "Would you like me to sit with you,
yeah,
or would you like to be on your own?"
yeah,
And
yeah.
just give you that choice.
Give you that choice, like, because sometimes people want to be on their own, but look, I didn't know because was on my own up and working, I'd be there on my own, then the lads would let me go off and do it. And I even remember, I think it was that poor Michael Ryan and Michael's young lad died. The staff sergeant, the superintendent, said, should we bring him in and talk to him? And he seen me outside with him. He said, no, he said, he couldn't do with anyone better. He said, he's working with a man that kind of went through. Michael's case was kind of different, but yeah, and it's tough on them as well for Jamie and Michael. Like it.
Mm.
Said he going back to it again, three men in the college, three only boys.
Terrible.
It's hard to believe it. Like,
Because you do expect your parents to pass. That is a natural
you
process.
do, yeah, but
You know,
never expect to lose a child, no matter what age you lose a child. People, little newborn babies, that's hard as well, like because their people are they're looking for. Oh God, I never see him making his commune. I never see him doing this. Like, and it's like me, as I never see Daniel get married. Now I was often waiting for someone to knock on the door and say, "I'm your grandson or your granddaughter." He was my father. No, looking at it that way, but I mean, it's good. Like, I mean, looking, I can talk about now, and I can kind of smile and but you think of the good, all the good memories, the
Memories,
good things, and times ago to kill them as well. That's only natural. Mother's Day, you'd be sitting there. What you get your mother for Mother's Day? 10 cigarettes. I'd have to take out 20 euro in my pocket. Get up there and buy your mother something decent, and I'd have to buy the card myself. But that's
flowers or
that's the way
something.
that's the way he was. Like that's the way he was. And so the mother spoiled him. The mother spoiled the sons,
So
like don't they?
naturally, yeah,
Yeah,
naturally,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
way.
And probably if a grandson did turn up, you'd be delighted.
I should. I would be delighted to
I
say
bet
that
you would. Yeah, yeah,
he's carrying the name on that way. Like, but
correct.
no, but I said yourself, you've a great way about you. And I remember your father, he was a comical man. And I remember going into one time buying a pair of shoes. That time up in the college, you used to have dinner dances. Beyond this time of the year, I was buying a pair of shoes off him, they're leather soles. And he says, no, buddy, he says, you have to break these in slowly. You can't get them wet. I said, Eddie, the dinner dance is on this Saturday. He said, if there's rain, then I have to wear them like that. Like, but he was great then. He go see people in the hospital. I remember Lizzie Gilmy, godmother, to Mercy, a great character. He went to see her. Next thing he pulled out the tape and he started measuring the bed. And she said, "Get out of here." She said, "You're not putting me into a box yet."
At that time, they used to have the removals from Nina,
They
and
had,
they had an hour to spare, himself and Tom Murphy.
yeah.
So they used to go visit anyone that was in the hospital. And of course, anyone that they went to visit would find it very comical. And they used to
Yeah,
be careful of who they
here they're
visited.
in, like, yeah, the lads,
Yeah,
they're going to put us into a box or something like that.
correct.
Like,
Yeah,
but they're two good characters doing it. And sure,
yeah,
your Uncle Shawnee, for Shawnee was great as well.
correct.
Like, they're great men. As I said, you're taking after good men, like, and your father must be chuffed looking down, seeing the way what you've made of the place and what you brought it up to.
Thanks,
So
buddy.
that's a credit to you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And Louise now, your young lad there, what age is he now? He's
Four.
four. He's the same age as Joan and me.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're about the
youngest
same. Yeah,
grandson.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a cute age,
And
as
the
well.
funny thing, we always named this room Sean's room
Yeah,
after my uncle Sean.
yeah,
And of course, the other room is Eddie's room
yeah.
after my dad.
That's nice.
But of course, the little lad thinks it's his.
Does it?
He's called
Oh,
Eddie.
he's Eddie as well. So that's right. Yeah.
He's convinced
But
it's
sure,
his
it's
room.
great.
Yeah.
He's called after a good man as well, isn't
Correct,
he?
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's lovely. I remember even in Thurles one day we were sitting on a bench in Thurles and his granny was coming towards us. And Paddy Fennell was actually sitting reading a newspaper.
yeah.
And the granny, of course, let a big roar. Well, Eddie Gray. Before Paddy Fennell dropped the newspaper,
He got
he
fright.
got a bit of a fright.
You could see how that happened, all right,
Correct,
wouldn't
yeah.
you? Yeah, you
To
could
me,
see
was
it.
glad
Could
he hadn't
see it.
heard that name in a long, long time.
Yeah. But I even see it over Holly now, the kids, we talk about Daniel and you be telling them about, which is good because he's living on that way as well. Like, and they'd ask you things and they get a little bit upset sometimes when you would tell them, you wouldn't go into all the details the way he died and all that. Like, but
Yeah,
it's good to keep his name going that way as well,
big
would
time,
him? Like,
big
yeah,
time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Uh,
Actually, look, his memory live on, and same for everyone that passes away, their memory live on. Like, but
yeah.
I said it's frightening to see young people going like so. I said there's people lost. That family was talking about now where the father started opening up to me. So they lost two sons, and that'd be terrible for them.
Terrible.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
because I'd imagine if it happens to you the second time, it's hard, but you know what's coming,
yeah.
and the thoughts of meeting it again, I'd say would drive you up the wall.
Round
Even
the
if you say
twist.
you're cope with it, but
Yeah.
you know what's coming, you try and run the other way from it. But you can't. There's no escaping grief. It's there. Like, and as someone, the way people put it to me, sometimes you have good days and more days. Another day then is like someone hits you a box into the face, just comes out of nowhere and knocks you for sick again, sticks again. Now that would happen regular in the early years, not so much now. Like, but just every time I go to his grave, I do say to myself, every time I go, I say, this is still not right. Like, he should be doing that. Not Danny wouldn't sow a flower; he'd sow it upside down. He had no interest in gardening at all. Like, but I know you said it's not right, but that's the way it is, and nothing you can do about that.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
do the
Fair
best you
play,
can and
fair
keep
play.
going.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tough road, in fairness.
Tough road and a hard road, but said you get there. Some people get there, probably some people don't. Some
Yeah,
people never learn to cope, I suppose.
yeah, they struggle with it. And
Yeah,
I know one dad said to me he lost a son and he had another son. And I met him maybe a few weeks later and we were just chatting away. And he said, only for the second son, I'd be in with you now, Eamon.
yeah. I could see where he was going there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
but thank God it didn't happen to me that way. But Daniel, I had Philomene was older, a year older, a year and a half older. I mean, Vicky was 5 years younger than him. But no, I never thought of it that way. Like, I suppose then again, you see, there you are used to that. Man, everyone is
yeah,
different.
yeah, correct. Everyone
Looks
has
at
their own way of dealing
everyone
with it,
looks
don't
at it
they?
different. Yeah,
And different things. Well,
yeah,
I remember another lady and she used to visit the grave every day.
yeah.
And she told me she met someone in the shop one day and they said, you got to stop that. You got to get over that.
Mm,
And I remember saying to him, I hope you told them where to go
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's very easy for me to say
It's
that.
very easy. Yeah, if you want to go every day, and some
Correct.
people done that and they've seen them doing it. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Like,
That's the way I handle it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And it's lovely the way, like I said to you earlier, that yourself and the girls, you've no bother talking about Daniel. I think
No, we
that's,
talk about it,
yeah,
come down now. Now, Philomena for a long time, excuse me, she couldn't visit the grave. She felt, and I could understand that too. And I remember we went up with her one day then, and she came so far. And I said, "Look, you have to come this far now, come the whole way." I said, and she did. And that was the first time going there after he passed away. And
mm,
she cried a lot, and I cried there then. But that done her good, like, and she knew then. I said, "Look, his body is there, so but he's in a good place. So he's watching over you, and he will
yeah,
be watching over you." So, but that's they were young at the time. Hard for
yeah,
them to deal with it too at that age, like so.
correct.
It's important for them to be talking to them about it as well.
Mm,
But I said, no, it hits everyone different, and you hear different stories, like, and people that can't deal with it, I do feel sorry for them. Probably counselling is the way to go because they would have a way of drawing it out, yeah, I think. But I done that myself once, and they told me I didn't need it.
mm,
I was well able to talk about
yeah,
it, not that like so.
yeah.
And look, as they keep telling me I have the gift of the gab anyway. I can talk, and I can talk anyway, I suppose. Yeah,
Yeah, but even like that, sometimes when people meet you or stop, they don't
yeah.
know whether to mention him or not. They don't know what to
They
do.
wouldn't. And I remember the man that said that to me about the long evenings are coming in. I felt like saying to him, as I said, it could be bright 24 hours a day. But I knew what he meant. That
Yeah,
the longer evenings coming in, you'd be out in the garden, you'd be busier. You won't be sitting down outside in the cold, dark weather that you can't go out and do
not to
anything
go.
like so.
Yeah,
But no, it's just important to keep yourself going as best you can
yeah,
and to deal with it. And as I said to people around people that lose them, just be there for them.
for them,
That's all you
yeah,
can do.
yeah,
You can't do any more than that.
yeah. I often would think of Daniel because I suppose with a family like yourselves, you kind of go on a bit of a journey with him.
Yeah, yeah,
But the one day I always remember, I always think of him is my birthday,
yeah.
the 4th of May.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, his birthday's 4th of May as well.
Right, I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
And they always said to him, the time you had to die, God forgive me for saying, but November's a horrible month anyway. It's all souls, it's dark and dreary. And then he said, the body would make a difference if it was the middle of summer to be still the same thing.
Correct, yeah, we still, yeah,
That's the
yeah,
way it
yeah,
is.
the
Like, yeah,
winter,
but his birthday's 4th of May. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
he
what to say.
enjoyed America that time, and his plan was to go back himself and Joe Canaan because actually the day we flew there, we flew into Boston, and the lads were to pick us up, but they got mixed up in the time. We were nearly I think 3 hours at the airport, and he was bursting for a pint and a cigarette, and he went to smoke, and he got this tap on the shoulder. You have to go outside to smoke. He had nearly 2 miles to walk from the
That was
airport. So
before our no
he's
smoking.
back then. I ordered 2 pints, and your man says, "Who's the other pint for?" I says, "My son over there." And of course, he looked over. What age is he? I couldn't say 21 because I said he's over 18. Oh, he has to be 21. And here I had to say 21 to probably say, "Where's his ID?" Like, and he was drinking coke for nearly 3 hours. He nearly cracked up. He wanted a pint and he couldn't get one. Yeah. I mean, that's a good memory to think of as well. Like,
Correct, as that memory of that trip must be
that's a great. Like,
very precious.
we'd work, so we'd have to get up in the morning, no matter where we lived in Worcester. It's in the Boston area, but you had to be on the job at 7 in the morning. So the farther away you were, the earlier you get up. So some mornings I had to get them up at 5, and we'd be walking down to the workshop. He said to me, "Why are we to walk to the workshop?" Well, I said, "Did you see a limousine outside the door?" So we haven't got one. I said, "No, a horse and cart." I said like that, like, and then we were doing this big office place, all flats and all that, and he was caulking all the doors and no, it is a horrible job. I hate doing myself even this day. I was only doing there last week. I hate it. And he says, "Why have I to do this? Why have I to do that?" I said, "You start at the bottom of the ladder, you work your way up to the top." I said, "That's the way you do it." But
Yeah,
trying to get that into him. But he liked to decorate, and he worked with Pat Forty then doing the fireplace, and he loved that.
ah,
Anything to do with his hands, he loved doing it.
big odds, yeah,
He got
yeah,
great with Pat now that time doing that, and done a few fireplaces around. Like, he was actually working with Pat that time when it happened to him.
God, big
He
God,
was,
yeah.
so yeah, he gifted with the hands. He was gifted at drawing, and I remember having to go to school one day, Sister Helen again, and Jim Shea had him. They're trying to talk sense to him. I was sitting here, said Jim was there, and or he was there, and Sister Helen at the other side when they were talking away, and I said to myself, they're talking to him now, they don't know, so he's going in one ear and out the other ear. Just I knew by the head of him, like. And I said it to Jim that time, and I think they hadn't an art class that time. He was absolutely gifted at the drawing. I was good at that myself.
Big
I could look at a thing and draw the very same.
yeah,
And they had no art that time in the school. And he said, sorry, because academic wise, he didn't like maths and all that. He wasn't great at him. He just didn't like him.
mm,
But yeah, gifted at things like that he was. Yeah. But so, the opposite of that, Sister Helen, do you remember giving him that speech that day? I do, she said, but she knew, she said, I know well, just going in money, go the other year. I said, look, you tried, as everyone tries, and that's all you can do.
right, yeah, and
Yeah, it's just, as you look, great memories of him. He'd be what now? He'd be 45 in May, just gone, if he was alive.
right,
And strange to think of it, he'd be 45. I was 45 in the college. And where did 45 come into something? My father's 45 years past. That's a strange
yeah,
thing,
but
the
that's
45.
unusual, yeah, isn't it? Yeah,
That came into my head there after I retired, just said
big
that.
yeah,
Hard to believe it, like,
yeah,
yeah. But the college, I do miss it, like, but it's look. I said, being there, you move on, and and as I said, it's great to be able to move on and still do the work and all that kind of stuff, like, and but I still see the lads around, like, and probably I was on my own a lot of the time up there, be off decorating rooms and classrooms and kind of keeping myself in that. I used to lock them all out the time the COVID was going on. We were lucky to have a good work up there at that time.
yeah,
Actually, we worked harder because it was empty. All the students were gone. But I put signs up on the door: if you're coughing or sneezing, don't come in. I don't want to know you. I don't want to see you. It's a good old crack, like a great crowd up there.
yeah,
If I go back to the earlier times, Dan Berwick and Latimer and Roger Hennessy, the Gunnar Quinlan, my father, Mickey Culla, some characters up there,
God,
John
brilliant,
Costello.
really,
We used to love John coming in. He'd be on the old Byler house. If you come in the 4 o'clock one, we'd all head over around 20 past 4. You'd have the newspaper on the table, clean newspaper, and the apple tarts. You'd bring up apple tarts. Great characters in it, like, and
yeah,
it's a real small place, small enough that time, like, but just great characters. Even the guards themselves, everyone knew everyone
yeah,
back then. Like, whereas
yeah,
now, you know him now to see him and all that, but everyone say hello, but it's not the same camaraderie as what there was then. Like
then, yeah,
the Messam used to go on, sure.
yeah,
Jack Sage used to be there for old Jack out of
God,
Mercy.
yeah,
Jack went out to he was in the bylaw house, let this hopper up in, or had to go on slow to keep the bylaw house going. Went out to watch a western. He used to love the westerns to the cinema. And sure, the hopper came down, the whole place nearly went on fire. But that's the way they were, like, they were good characters, great
yeah.
characters they were, yeah.
You miss
But
some of those characters, don't you? Sometimes,
somewhat, I mean, you think me dad, he worked on the building of it, the restoration of it, and then himself, John Costello, a lot of them then were doing that. And then that time with the politicians, he went straight into the pool then in 1966, and he gave 14, 13 years there. Then he got me the job in the old gym. The women used to clean it, but they couldn't win when the students were in there, so they're only in and out. So they got me that job. That's how that job was made, like. But then he got the cancer at 54, and I moved over to the pool then after he passed away. Like, actually, in the pool, it's hard to believe it. I had 40 hours a week overtime in that pool, and the superintendent's up there now. I'm sure Henry Healy, if he's seen, he said 40 hours a week overtime, but just going flat out.
God,
5 nights a week, 6 to 9.
yeah,
Tuesday was the town, they had the swimming club here in Morris Hodges, Dr. Hennigan,
yeah, correct.
all them
I
were in
read
it.
through all that. Yeah,
All
yeah,
them,
yeah.
yeah. And then the students would be there, they were there Saturday and Sunday. Do you remember marching down to Mass on the Sunday?
Correct. Yeah,
All that crack.
yeah,
But to be in the pool, they'd have classes up to dinner time on Saturday, then 2 to 5 was leisure, swimming firm. Sunday morning, myself and Mick Byle had to go in for a Mick Lartimer
yeah,
and clean it up, hoover and all that. Then Sunday after dinner was leisure swimming as well. Like, so,
yeah,
40 hours a week over now. The wages weren't great then, but that 40 hours a week had me going to then a Saturday buy the wash machine, pay him off by the week.
yeah.
That's the way we done it then. Like,
They kept the show on the
it
road. Yeah,
kept the show on the road. Yeah, it was
yeah,
great that way. It was great. It was great to me. Like, it was kept me going. Like, and it's only 5 minutes away, sure.
yeah,
When you think of
correct.
it, like,
Yeah, yeah,
like people have said to me in the later stages, why are you driving up to the college? You're only 5 minutes away. I said, there's enough of days I walked up. Then I had the push bike, and every time I go to come out, give you a shower and you get drowned going up and down.
down,
I said, I ain't doing that
yeah.
again. So I drive up and down then to make it handy, yeah.
You didn't have to save the planet back then.
Well, exactly, yeah. But no, it's a good plan to be there, hopefully for a long time to come yet, and there are more people coming in there, like, so it's good.
It's a
Good.
huge, obviously, it's a huge boost to the town because even sometimes the pubs will get them, the
Pubs are getting
restaurants get
there,
them
yeah, yeah.
first
And
of
I
all.
see a lot of them going into Little down there as well, like in the restaurants now. Murphy's going to Murphy's there, and sure, when they come in, when the new crowd will know you go into the hotel on the Sunday evening, it's packed to them.
Fact,
They bring all their families over there, so it's good all around that way, which is good to see. Like,
isn't it?
which is
Yeah,
great
yeah,
to see.
correct.
Yeah.
It brings
Now,
economy.
as I said, they did one time. The new crowd that took over, they took it away from the town, like Peters, the milk and all this crack. Bringing chickens down from Dublin, like they only saved like maybe 50 cent a chicken by doing it. But I think it happened one day. There was wherever they got the vegetables from, there was snow, and they hadn't enough, and Peter had to come up with the vegetables again, and he went in, he made his case,
Yeah,
and
fair.
he was right. He said, "Well, you probably get more snow. Why are you going to do them?" But I
Yeah,
think I think to have it back again now. I
would
think,
yeah,
which is only right that if that had to happen, and I always said it when my father and all the crowd I mentioned, Gunner, Roger, and all them were there, they would have been outside that gate, would have been strike on there,
protest.
and it would
Yeah,
have been the right thing to do.
because even the
The right thing.
butchers used to supply them. Yeah,
They did,
correct.
yeah,
Years
they
ago.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, that would never have happened, but look, as far as I know now, I think it's back again. It's only right. It's good too. Like, so
yeah. Correct,
it's good. It's
correct.
good.
Yeah, really appreciate you sitting down, buddy, and
I enjoyed
taking
it,
the
and
time.
we could stay talking for another hour and all that, and there was you things to do, life things to do as well. But look, I hope talking about grief that it helps people, help them understand it, and look at people, and if they can't help them, and as I said, maybe listen more so than try and talk. Because
So,
it is hard, even with me, sometimes with people, it's hard to watch it. If I say something, I know by their reaction. So, you shouldn't have said that, don't say that again.
yeah, yeah.
And but that comes from experience, I suppose,
Correct. Yeah, part and
which
parcel.
you wouldn't want anyone to have. You
Yeah,
wouldn't want anyone to have.
and it's like what I say to you. I think even when you just talk to a family who are in that
Yeah,
situation, or if you just appear at the funeral,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think they would. I'd imagine if I was in that, I'd say, God, look at these two now. They've been there, they've done that, and
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
still a bit
And
of a smile
even
on their
I
face.
think
And
what's great here is your Christmas tree every year. And it's great and sad because every year you see more extra coming again. You say, God, they're going through it now. Like, and since you started that, like when I look at the amount of families you have to go through, and it's getting bigger every year, and all this thing, it's a great gesture that you do. I mean, that helps a lot of people too. People just come together, and you might even talk to somebody there. Then, like, and or I think even there, just people just either look at one another, hug one another, and that's sometimes just a hug. That's all you have to
yeah,
do as well. You don't have to say nothing at all.
and it's like I said, even if you stand beside a family who maybe lost a son or a
Yeah,
daughter during the
yeah.
year, and you just stand beside them.
And they look at you, yeah, they say, well, he's here now, like that. Like, but
Yeah,
I noticed that as well. That someone actually was talking to Wayne the other day. He told me shortly he'll be getting the tree ready and all that. Right, he's great as well. You've great, you've great staff there, which
correct.
is
Yeah,
great. Like, and so then we said poor old Joe doing all the doors and all outside.
yeah,
He was great too. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, no, the Christmas tree, that's something to look forward to now in every year as well. Like,
Yeah. It's
it's
amazing
great.
how it became a part of
Yeah,
Templemore's
yeah.
Christmas, didn't it?
And
Yeah,
before our sister now, she loved it, and
yeah,
she just loved getting the candles. She always get a candle, and even now get a candle for her. And we bring it over to the nursing home for, like, she wouldn't light it and all that.
yeah.
She'd be in there now. She'd be keeping in touch as well. She'd be asking about things as well. I told her I was doing this, and I said the podcast. What statues? I always hear about that, and I said it'll be on YouTube. I said
Yeah, yeah,
I'll show it. You say, but I say it'll cost you a fee now to
yeah.
look at. I mean, like Ireland or that way, like
Charger for it. Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah,
I enjoyed it. You know, it was great, great. Because you're so easy going, like myself, and you could stay talking to you all day, like, and you could stay talking to me all day,
correct, correct. Yeah, yeah.
which is good.
But I think by talking like you did,
Yeah,
that for somebody who was either going through something like you went through,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
think it'll be a huge help to
it'll
them.
help
So it's
them.
a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Fair play to you, buddy.
Well, you've had good ones on now. I said Lucy, Michael, Mary Desselrow. I've seen hers the other night as well.
Yeah,
Like, and it's all good. And long may it continue for.
yeah. And I think it's nice. It's local interest, isn't it?
It is
It's so
local into
yeah,
me. Like you said, talking about the college, people wouldn't realise about the college going back that long, like the way it was. And as I said, people seeing it then and now. They had a load of pictures up there. Jerry Buckley was great at taking the pictures
mm,
of the old college, and I don't know what they've done with them. I think they still have them. They said they should be hanging up all along the walls, like, for people to see it.
yeah.
But they never think the way it was, like.
That's,
Yeah.
there was a museum, wasn't there, to go into the town hall at once
There's a
to
museum to
talk
go
about it.
in that was knocked on the head, which was a pity.
Yeah,
Now, Martin Forty was involved in that big time, and Martin he's into all that kind. He loves it, all that kind of stuff,
mm,
and he had it all ready to go, and just saw knocked on the head and the stuff. John Reynolds was big into it as well, and the stuff then was John took a lot of his stuff which I don't blame him. I think a lot of it was stored up there, just thrown somewhere.
Tippers,
The old uniform, and it was good. I mean, it was even up there. It was good to go in and see. That's what they wore years ago, and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
not the
Like,
way it worked. Because I went into the town hall about a week ago just and went upstairs to see. They have a fantastic setup
it's lovely
upstairs.
up there, seeing
Fabulous
it.
now, in fairness,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they would
Where
have put a museum there. Would have been nice as well.
it would have,
Would
yeah,
have
it
been,
would have definitely.
what's the fine? The town hall is a credit to them.
Correct.
But the only thing I say for the money it costs is to have finished off now all the footpaths, but where the park for the cars in the one at across St. Peter's there, they could put a bit of clean tarmac into that, done a proper job. That bugs me now. Look,
Right.
that's like no painting a wall, painting a room, not painting one wall.
Yeah, somebody left a
That's the way I
corner.
look at
Yeah,
that. To
yeah,
remind me, but no, it's a fine building.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
brilliant. No, it looks lovely.
yeah.
Looks lovely. It's great for the town.
Mm. Thanks a million, buddy. Really, really appreciate it. Was there anything you want to ask me?
No, no,
No.
nothing, no, nothing
You
to
weren't
ask you.
anticipating.
Huh?
You weren't anticipating asking any questions. You only answering.
Yeah, yeah, I don't mind. No, but no, I can't think anything to ask you though. Probably ask you, like as I said, we hear about your friends Tommy and Joe and all that. Like
Yeah.
it has to affect you big time. But how do you switch off? Like or what way?
It's obviously has to be hard, but I suppose when you get the initial kind of call, you're called in first. You go through a little bit of an autopilot, and you go and you get them ready.
Yeah,
And then I think, when they're put out here, maybe I'd go upstairs and Louise and Eddie and myself will come down and we sit there,
yeah.
and you're sitting there looking at them. That's probably when it hits you.
Hit you then,
It
like
probably hits you then.
yeah,
You've kind of gone through autopilot up to that. And I remember even getting my own mum ready years ago.
yeah,
And my Uncle Sean came in and just sat in the room. And I don't know, did he even say anything? Like he just sat there while I got her ready.
yeah.
That gave you the courage
Give
and
it the courage then
yeah,
to
correct, to do it.
that'd be hard doing your own mum as well. Like
Correct, yeah, correct. But something you'd be immensely proud of afterwards
no, yeah,
that you
yeah.
did.
Because I always say, I mean, what people forget is you see bad cases as well, like, and that's hard. That takes courage and
Correct,
strength
yeah,
to be
yeah,
doing that. Like, but you
yeah.
said you have to put all the bad thing to the back of your mind. So I have to do this job now, and you're thinking of the family then
Correct.
that you're doing it for. You want to present
The
the
person
person to
as
'em as
best you
best you
can,
can,
yeah.
and you do it great, like,
And I often said, obviously, children is obviously very, very hard.
yeah,
But I always said sometimes we get somebody in after an accident or something and we can't get them ready.
yeah.
And I actually find that terribly hard.
That's
And
hard,
when I'm
yeah,
closing the coffin, I'm the last person to see them.
yeah,
And it's, just that if the family see them, it's just going to bring too much distress.
yeah.
So you kind of have to
That,
call it, and
that's hard.
it is hard. And they're kind of anxious and they're saying,
Yeah.
why did you close it? And they want to,
That brings me to the time, Daniel, that time there was Scanny Mars young lad, the poor chap, he died over in England, and
yeah,
poor Brendan's son out in Castelline, he was about 3 weeks before that. And I remember, I think it was young Brendan's funeral, myself and John McCarthy. John, you done a podcast with John as well, he's done it very well,
yeah,
the fire brigade. I was getting the fish tank off a neighbour, he's up there, and and we were parked across from it, and we seen the funeral come, and we said we'd let it pass. And I remember saying to John, I said, Jesus, I God help that poor family what they're going through. Like that. And John said the same thing.
yeah.
Did it, I think, 3 weeks after I was going
Good to say
through it
both.
myself.
Yeah,
It's just to show you how life can. Ned Giles was up in the college for years, a great character, and then he had a great saying. He said, "Buddy, he said, you put your socks on in the morning. He said, you don't know who's going to take them
take
off
them
that
off
evening."
that
And
night.
he's dead right.
Correct.
And I'd often be a funeral in the graveyard, and he'd say to me, "Ned, he'd have the old pipe at the side of the mouth." He said, "It's a great day that you can walk in here and walk over." They're two sayings that stick in my head, isn't it funny?
Correct, yeah,
Yeah. And
correct, yeah.
the one about the socks is true, though. You just don't know. And I
No,
think young Brendan that time and me there 3 weeks after.
yeah,
Never would have dreamed it.
because
The
I,
poor old scaling device forgot them. That was tough on them. And
correct,
lovely people, like, and just
yeah,
went up to them as well a few times. And couldn't making teeth, that the creators God love them. And
yeah,
trying to cope with all that, like, was hard from,
yeah.
hard from.
And I often say that, when I meet someone like yourself or anyone that's been
Yeah,
through there, say the scalies were the same.
yeah,
You can see it in their eyes.
yeah.
It's still there, yeah.
So
It's
they're
still
still
there.
there. They're
It's
still
still
there,
there,
and
yeah. It's still there. It won't ever go away, but
never go away. And
no,
never does, like. And
no,
sometimes you go back and you might dream about it, and you say to yourself, "Jesus, I don't want to be there again." Like that's what I said. If it
yeah.
happens, to someone, which it did, I know if it would happen twice. How to get through it the second time, I
That
don't
was
know.
unreal, yeah.
It takes all your strength to get through it that time.
Correct, to
As I
do
said,
it once.
you know it's coming. You can't run away from it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot run away from it.
Uh, uh,
So it's funny, old cruel old world of time for families.
big time, isn't it?
Yeah, big
Big
time,
time,
big
yeah.
time. I said the Loughnans now send out me best to all them what they're going through, and
Yeah,
the whole thing is now the whole town singing, and that's good. I remember Dan's room, the crowds that turned up. It
yeah.
does help you.
Correct, yeah.
You said to yourself, look at the. He even said that I was giving his homily at the mass. The lads could stand up and see the church was packed, like, and it gives you a great sense of being that people are doing their best to help you guide you through it,
Yeah,
and they do the same for the Loughnans, which would be great as well.
yeah, correct, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's good. It's good, but
And just for people to be there, and maybe even, maybe if Nora and the girls are very
yeah,
upset and somebody came into you and said that Daniel did this or he did that,
yeah,
and you laugh at it and
yeah,
you turn to the girls and you tell them the story,
yeah.
and
Oh
then
yeah.
they laugh.
Like I said, the story, I heard the stories after, and then Nora told me things. I said, I didn't know that. I didn't tell you because she says you probably hit me a
You
belt
kill him.
around. I kill him. I said, I would kill him. Yeah. But she, I think he got into different. He was no saint, like, but he was trying to get things out, and he wouldn't tell you. Like, that time, the wooden spoon, he never went straight at the one. I said, "Get the arse off, you don't tell me this." But he wouldn't. He was stubborn as a mule,
Good,
stubborn as a mule. He wouldn't do it. Yeah,
uh,
yeah. But the mother knew a lot more than what the father knew.
yeah,
The mother would be covering for him. Yeah,
obviously, he
that's
does.
an Irish thing, though.
You're
I'd say
correct.
that
That
the Irish mammies. Yeah, oh yeah,
that
definitely.
is
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
But yeah, look, I've enjoyed this chat now, great, and we are talking about doing it all last week.
yeah.
So I'm glad now we've done it.
Brilliant, brilliant to be got it done.
Hope it helps someone.
I
That's
bet it will. I
that's the
bet it
main
will. I
thing.
bet
Yeah,
it will.
yeah.
Fair play to you, buddy.
No bother. You're more
Thanks
than
a million.
welcome.
Thanks.